Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Sonia. Um, you know how I said at the beginning of the year that I wasn't going to do any tags in this year? Like, I'm still not doing any of my own. But when I said I wasn't going to do anybody else's also, well, I changed my mind. And the reason that I changed my mind on this one is, so I'm a person, as you know, I like to research things. I like to know what stuff is, why it is, and stuff like that. Now, this is the hashtag Form and Fire, done by Draven Michael and Amber at Psychopump of the Void. And the reason why Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine, I have always had, not always, but in recent years, have really had a hard time relating to divine feminine and masculine as a term. So first I wanted to talk a little bit about why some people may have problems or issues with divine feminine and masculine. It could be because of gender roles. It could be as simple as gender roles, okay? Social expectations. There could be some kind of trauma with aggression or manipulation. Being taught that one or the other is good or bad. Maybe over-identifying with one or the other, or they have experience with someone else doing that, not knowing what healthy versions look like, such as with dominance and passivity. But going deeper than that, going into the spiritual context, the rigid roles that come with them, feeling unbalanced with one or the other, using them as a hierarchy, over spiritualizing them, feeling one or the other must be healed, and projecting expectations. Now we're going to go a little bit deeper than that. These are the ones that I feel really push them away for me. Romanticizing them. Making out like the feminine is higher. Treating them as aesthetic identities instead of an inner dynamic. That's treating them as cosmic archetypes and instead of embodied experiences. Using them to justify spiritual bypassing, and then treating them as moral categories. Now, as you went down there, when you got to the last ones, that's the ones that really, it's just like when I hear divine feminine and divine masculine, I'm just like, well, I want to puke. So, went through that. Then I'm like, okay, well, I'm all about, I need to find out things. I need to talk about how I relate to things. I may not relate to them ever again. I may not think of them ever again. But I'm going to relate to them now. So I'm attempting to answer these questions. Now, it has been 2 weeks, I believe. Okay? I've never, being honest, I've never looked at the divine masculine in myself. And always feel that, you know, way woo-woo when hearing about the divine feminine. Okay? It's just, that's what it does to me. But, and that's just because of, you know, how it is out there in the spiritual world, I believe, that can do this to someone. So, let's do this. The first question. Masculinity and femininity are foundational energies for humanity. How do you define masculine energy? So, I listened to both videos. I took notes. You know, things would like, okay, I see that. And so I would look up some things and, you know, try to relate to some things, and I wrote down my answers. So, apparently, masculine energy is the part of me that moves forward with clarity and steadiness. And it's that energy that says, I can take that step. I can choose the direction. And even when I'm uncertain, I can hold myself steady. Now, logically, yes, I do see this. But, you know, like someone who, what I talked about, people who have problems relating to it, it's like, you know, I'm a female. I can do that without any kind of masculine, okay? And I feel that. But this is not supposed to be about gender roles or being strong and tough or dominating or controlling something. Masculine energy is this inner force that gives one's life the shape, direction, and stability. Okay. Number 2, when connecting into your masculine energy, where in the body do you feel that energy resonating? No. So, you tend to think of places that relate to strength, right? Grounding, direction. So, thinking of all the body parts and stuff, first I would say the chest area. That's funny, right? That's funny. But what I'm talking about is when you're standing up for yourself, you feel a kind of warmth in this area, you know? And then I would think the spine, like the spine. Because that's how you're holding yourself up, right? Even though, you know, we're not going to get it. It's not about gender. It's not. But holding myself, you know, upright, aligning myself. And then, of course, the feet and the legs. I've seen where a lot of people will say the feet and the legs, or, you know, the hands, or the dominant hand. You're pushing forward, okay? But also, those are also with like grounding, like standing firm. Number 3, what structures or foundations, masculine energy, have you built within yourself that have created safety for the feminine energy to flourish? Okay, so giving some thought on that. Maybe telling myself the truth about what I'm feeling. Like, honesty is a structure. And that honesty can give that feminine permission to be real and not hidden. I don't know if everybody will understand that. And like when I say no, like not now, or that's not good for me, that's a boundary. I'm putting up a wall, And that keeps that inner world safe. Like, my feminine won't be constantly threatened. That's not, Another story. Calming myself instead of spiraling. So that's an inner anchor that's holding the space. Because, see, the problem I'm having with this, I mean, I can see it, I get it, and I know it's a thing. But at the same time, it's like trying to wrench apart the masculine part, from your feminine, because you're a female, trying to wrench that apart. That's the problem. It's so going more into that, knowing what matters to me and what I'm moving forward, so my feminine can rest and grow. Keeping promises to myself, creating trust inside me, and walking away from harmful dynamics, so my feminine feels safe. Acceptance, so my feminine can breathe. And then choosing a routine so everything doesn't become like way too chaotic. Not a rigid routine, not talking about that, just one that gives a feeling of some stability. Number 4, what ethics, think code of honor, do you wear proudly as a piece of your character that greatly informs your identity and how you move within the world? Again, the honesty with myself. I like seeing things clearly, even when that's uncomfortable. Okay? And that's a big part of my identity. I don't follow any kind of trends or someone else's expectations. I like to follow what feels real. That's what shapes my choices and my path. Because, like, see, even with this, I can understand all of this. I see it. But at the same time, I have to be honest and say it's uncomfortable. But at the same time, I'm trying to be honest with it. I don't want people trampling in my inner world. And I protect it, and that shows that I respect it. I take ownership of what I do. I don't like to try or pretend or manipulate others. And sometimes I can be a little blunt. I may not be understood, but I'm blunt. I always want to be evolving, even when it's feeling so hard. Being stuck in something because it feels comfortable can make me jump right off that path. My energy and where it goes is important to me, and I don't want to be controlled, and I will refuse it. So, number 5, we identify with various archetypes in our lives and practice. Is there a masculine archetype you identify with the strongest, and why? And I would probably say the guardian of my inner world. I've already alluded to that before, because I don't let others define who I am. So my feminine is there in that inner world, my intuition, and my masculine guards them there. So the guardian stands and protects and holds. And it's that steady presence of the masculine that is grounded. See, you can still do these things and still be skeptical as you are doing them. Because It's so hard. It's hard. 6, humanity has a connection to the natural world, and the wild man archetype is commonly seen. How do you connect to the energy of wild nature? How do you express it? Now, see, this question is a little bit easier for me, and it's through my senses. I notice the world directly, like the heat, the wind, the smell, the sounds of insects, humidity, and the weight of it. So by sensation, I would say, through that instinct, through reading the land, connecting when I'm alone and quiet. It's easier for me to do that when I'm by myself and it's quiet. Not the world being quiet, but people, humanity being quiet. Trying not to dominate nature, having respect for it. Sometimes that can be still difficult to do because you have that, teaching, like, yeah, you should do this, you should do that. And it's like, no, I don't want to do that. I want it left as it is. Being outside helps me slow down my thoughts, and I become more aware instead. I don't try to overthink, and so I use more instinct. I allow my feelings to exist without trying to put them in a box, all neat and tidy, because the world is not tidy. Nature is not tidy. The wild is not tidy. I'm more connected to my body, like in how I'm breathing and standing and sensing. And my presence is quiet and more primal. But there's no aggression. Okay. Number 7. The sage, king, and leader is an aspect of us all. Give an example of how you express each of these titles in your own way. How does embracing these masculine qualities and titles allow for the high priestess, the witch, and queen energy to come through strongly? And then we get into another difficult one. So, looking up sage, I would say that I express the sage through looking beneath the surface of things. I trust my instincts on motives. I'm not fooled easily, and that can get people angry with me. Not just on, out there, but in real life. I have feelings that let me see what's false. People like to turn that around on you. Okay. I will process a whole experience in my head. Like everything, it just will go on in here. Okay. And I know what I know. So this would give my high priestess clarity and discernment. Like she can speak without being distorted. Then I suppose the king would be expressed through my boundaries and not letting someone control me, like claiming my space, ruling my own inner world, and deciding what's going to come into my life and what's going to leave. So the king would give the queen her throne, in a protected realm. She has the stability and the confidence. And then I would say the leader is expressed when I'm moving forward on something that matters to me, listening to my heart when it says now, and I'm going to walk my own road. Okay. And we'll say that the leader gives the witch her momentum and purpose to not stay hidden. Number 8. Rightly or wrongly, masculine energy is seen as more forceful and active. Has there been a situation within your practice where the active masculine energy has stepped forward in a big way? Okay, let's just try to look at this from the masculine. Setting those boundaries, mostly. And not letting someone define me or my practice or path. Now, it's hard to keep saying that this is the masculine energy because I just feel like, well, that's all female, all feminine, and I have to keep this. It's not gender. Now, what someone does in secret, that's not my problem. If you want to talk about me or whatever in secret, in little hidden rooms and private spaces and paid for spaces and stuff like that, we're not going to go any further than that. That's not my problem, and I don't care. I have felt pulled towards things that a lot of other people don't understand. But if I'm being pulled to it, I'm going to keep going forward, okay? I'm going to go where I feel my truth is. Now, you go do you. Removing myself from those draining situations. Having to make decisive actions, even when that involves a family member. I've done it. I'm not going to be available for that. And confronting situations instead of avoiding them. Although I'd rather avoid them. But my masculine wants to confront them, apparently. 9. The divine masculine energy is typically seen as more aggressive. What practices do you do to temper that energy? In what ways do you use that aggression? I'm going to let that first wave pass. Don't want to. Something I've learned to do, actually. I'm just going to breathe. I'm going to observe it all and not lash out. It's like taking that step back. It's like, okay, that's what we doing? Okay. I do a self-check. I'm making sure that I'm not just, reacting. Go outside and physically ground. Like, push it all into the earth. Let her have it. She can take care of it. I'm almost always defensive. On the defensive side, not the offensive side. I'm going to withdraw if I need to. Just going to go quiet. Now, using aggression is when I want to be clear about my boundaries. I'm going to use it also to clear away any kind of manipulation. Okay? We're not doing that. Okay? No. And if it's really important and it needs action, then I'm going to do it, Okay, 10. Where in nature do you see and recognize masculine energies? Okay, this one's a little bit easier for me too. So going outside and I'm looking around, where do I see masculine energy? First thing I come to is the trunks of trees. Okay? They go through a lot, those trees. But especially they've gone through a lot around here. Okay? Hurricane weather. It doesn't even have to be hurricane weather. It could be strong storms around here. The wind blows aggressively around here. Maybe because it's fields. The wind, of course. And I'm not talking about the little breezes, but that forceful wind, you know, that kind that pushes you, that hurricane wind. A river's current, most especially because I was raised to respect that current, that river, okay? You are not the boss of that body of water. No, because there are undertows in those rivers, especially Swanee River. They don't play, okay? They will pull you under. Mountains. We don't have any mountains around here, but when I think of going outside, I would think of mountains if I was in an area where there were mountains, because they seem really solid to me and really massive, some of them. And of course, most especially around here, the sun in the middle of the day. Like the sun, the heat is very direct here in the summertime. Because right now, you probably can't touch my doorknob. You probably can't put a bare foot on my front porch or on the metal threshold plate coming in. You can't put your bare feet on that or touch that handle. It's like touching a hot pan on the stove. It is hot. So yeah, the sun. 11, masculine energy creates the structure for feminine energy to exist in full power. But the opposite can also be said. Yeah, I like that. How does feminine energy nurture the masculine energy within you or in your life and practice? So without that feminine depth, okay, the masculine action is going to be empty. That's what I'd say. So my feminine is given that masculine purpose. My feminine nurtures the masculine by giving it something worth standing for. And my feminine creativity softens that masculine rigidity, keeping it human. I'm still seeing it as that female aggression, though, not... It nurtures by giving emotional wisdom. It gives it a place to rest and not burn out, and gives inner alignment. I feel like that's feminine, though. You know, I was reading this and I saw that and I'm like, I see it. I understand where it's coming from, but still having that issue connecting is me. 12. Life is a combination of masculine and feminine energies. How do you alchemize those energies to create the best version of you? So we're talking about the truth. Let's use that one. Okay, my feminine is going to show me the truth. And then the masculine is going to act on it. Because like the feminine is going to say, this is what's real, okay? And then the masculine is going to respond with, okay, well then this is what we're going to do. My feminine is going to open that door to that inner world. And then my masculine is going to stand at that door and guard it. And my feminine defines the reason. And my masculine builds the path for it. So they create that balance together. So like I said, I didn't just answer these questions, okay? I was trying to meet my masculine energy. Still don't know that I accomplished that. I can't promise that. And because of that, I don't feel like this is a one and done kind of issue. I'm basically just opening that door for these two energies to like even meet, okay? Without feeling some kind of conflict with it. Because the conflict is there, okay? So I put myself in those situations. I tried to see and to feel and to put in there, you know, how I was feeling it was supposed to be. Some of it, yeah, I get it. Some of it, it's just, It's like beating the head against the wall. But I'm trying. I can understand it. I see it. It's just, I think the part I have to get rid of is that part where there's too much spirituality tries to romanticize this stuff and making it like some kind of hierarchy. And like I said, what was it? The cosmic archetype. I can't. This is supposed to be like, we're supposed to be talking like our inner embodied experiences, and none of that. And that's what I have to let go of and quit seeing it like that. But you know, on social media, it's like pounded into your head that way until you're just like, I can't relate to that. Okay, I just can't. And that's the reason why I haven't been able to. And like all these divine feminine things and all that I've been seeing or had seen previously, is just like, I'm not interested. I'm not. Because I see it coming from these certain types of ways, and I cannot relate to those. Okay, I can't. So yeah, that is that hashtag. Go and check out Draven Michaels' video on it, and Amber Psychopomp of the Void, Form and Fire. And until next video, I'll see you again.